What's up, boys and girls? This is Spit Logic. When it comes to beat making, when it comes to making your music, there are a lot of different options, a lot of different ways that you can do it. A lot of it can be predicated on the type of equipment that you have. But then I think what's more important than that is your approach, how you approach beat making. You can look at it from two different approaches. There is one approach that creates music from scratch. So taking nothing and then creating something out of that in order to start your beat making journey. Then there is the other perspective of where you take something that already exists and use that to create something new from it. So when creating something from scratch, creating something from nothing, you have a wider berth of different options on what you want to create, what genres, what sounds you want to use. I think also at the same time, unless you're inspired, the process can take a while. You'll stumble and fumble a lot more along the way, and it can cause a little bit more frustration. On the other hand, when you're using something that already exists and creating something new, that process can go a little bit faster. That process can be a little bit easier. At the same time, you're limited to the current sounds that you're using, the current content that you're using to change that content into something else. So you're kind of pigeonholed inspiration-wise. So if in your head you have something else, some other sound or some other type of music that you want to make, you have to kind of stray away from that, or you have to search for that particular sound to meet and match what you're inspired to make. And specifically when we're talking about beat making, I think that there are also, two main ways that you can go about beat making. Number one, you can either start off with the drums. A lot of people start with the drums, the rhythm of the music, before they add the melody behind it. There's another train of thought which I typically run with. I typically make the melody first, or I take a melody first and create that into how I want it to go on my beat, and then I adapt the drum to that melody. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to actually take a sample, take some sort of music that is already established, and I'm going to make that part of my package, my musical package. I'm also going to use my Logic Pro, my DAW, and create some sounds, something out of nothing. But the key part of this is that I'm going to start off with the drum. I'm going to create my drums first, and then based on the drum, have my music surround that rhythm that I've created. 9 times out of 10, when I create my beats, I start off with that melody. This is going to be somewhat of a challenge, I think, but we'll see. And I'm just going to kind of record my journey as I create something by taking something that is already established and then creating something, molding something, growing something out of nothing, all kind of surrounded by the use and the workflow of the SP44 Mark II. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I have my keyboard, my MIDI controller here. It's connected to my computer, which is connected to my Logic Pro application. And then the output of my computer is connected through the USB-C of the SP44 Mark II. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play with some of the instruments here on my Logic Pro, and I'm going to use the effects on the SP44 Mark II and then sample from Logic Pro into the SP4 Mark II and use that melody that I use in conjunction with the music that I've already sampled off of a record. And just for fidelity, it'll be based on this drum pattern that I created. I'm using that drum pattern in order to create the melody for the music going forward. I really do like that. I really do like the way that sounded. So I'm gonna make that kind of the basis of this beat that I'm gonna make. I do think I need some bass. So that's gonna do it for this video. I will say that even though this beat ended up sounding a little dog shit, I did really enjoy the process. And what this experience did for me is that it reinvigorated my love for using my DAW. The primary reason that I got the SP4 Mark II is because I wanted to expand my tools for using and creating music. In the process, in the last year and a half, I have pigeonholed myself actually and exclusively use that for all my music making. Logic Pro is the DAW that I've only used for like mixing and mastering the stuff that I made on my SP4 Mark II. So as a result of this, what I'm gonna do going forward is I do plan on buying additional gear, something to augment or complement my SP4 Mark II, but also I'm not going to pigeonhole myself or wall myself away from using software, using DAWs in order to enhance my ability to create music. So at this point in my musical journey, what I want to do now, what my goal is now, is to become a Swiss Army knife. I essentially want to be able to take any piece of gear, any piece of equipment, any sound, whether it's coming from a record or a tape or something from online, even if it's a live performance or just a recording out there in nature. I want to be able to use any tool, any piece, any fragment, any element, and to make those pieces into a whole sum that manifests itself as a composition. I'd also be just curious, from your perspective, especially for those of you who use the SP44 Mark II. Are you using the Mark II exclusively? And if not, what other devices, what other software do you use and incorporate with the SP44 Mark II? As always, I thank you for the view. I thank you for the listen. And until next time, peace.